a response to one of our viewers. They mentioned they want to know how we handle religious or cultural differences in our relationship. Um, so to kind of start off on that, I'm not sure if we really have religious differences. I feel like we're pretty much on along the same. I feel like we're on the same accord when it comes to that. But I know there has been instances where like previously I would be dating someone they necessarily didn't believe the same thing that I did. Like for me, I'm a Christian, and if that person didn't believe in that, I feel like it wouldn't really, for me personally, I feel like I do want to have to share some of the same core values and beliefs, because I feel like it'll show up in other areas of our life if we decide to have children, and how we choose to raise those children, and things like that. I feel like it's really tough, especially when you've been taught something your entire life, and to feel like something tries to pressure you into leaving that, and it's something that you have been devout on for so long. It is very, very hard. I can't speak to that because I feel like me and Drew are on the same page.
I would even, and I don't want to interrupt it, but I would say I think we did have different religious backgrounds. I would say I feel like we did, definitely. I think I won't say completely different. I say what we did.
When I first started dating Drew, religion really didn't come up. I didn't really know what he believed in because he never really spoke on anything. And I'm the type of person where I'm not judgmental, and I'll give it time. So I wasn't really like critical or trying to like push my beliefs onto him or anything like that. I just kind of let our relationship and go with the phases, and if it did come about, then it would be a discussion to be had then. But I didn't necessarily push or pressure my beliefs on him. I feel like he knew what I believed in.
I did.
But I didn't tell him what he believed in was wrong, and I didn't tell him that that's absolutely wrong. You need to believe in what I believe in. I don't think that would be okay. But as far as, what do you think was different?
A lot. Because I've never been I probably mean when I was like 3 or 4 years old, where I was a quote unquote Christian, and then whenever my mother did take us to church, I wasn't Christian. It wasn't Seventh Day Advantage. It wasn't Christian. It was like a Hebrew Israelite type of church. But a lot of when I did go to church that was different than yours was like we didn't celebrate holidays.
Yeah.
And I remember I even told you that we didn't celebrate holidays. So, and then after me being older and being not going to church with my mom, I still like did my own little like not even dabbling in religion, but like I had my own stuff that I stuck to.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So whenever I met you, I wasn't Christian.
Yeah.
And I haven't been Christian since I was like probably 3 or 4. And then I wasn't even going to church. And I'm just not the most to like how you said, I'm not bringing up God. I may not pray before I eat.
I feel like I'm not religious. I'm more so spiritual.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of where
we connected on. Because the fact of I don't go to church, or I'm not I'm not Christian, I'm not this, and I may not read the Bible every day, but I'm super duper spiritual and connected on that end. And I say we both were the same on that. Yes, 100%, 110%. But I think we also had the same kind of where you might have been, you could have said, okay, you were Christian, but I'm like, okay, I was on the other spectrum to say, oh, well, I won't say I'm Christian, I won't say I'm this, but I'm a very spiritual person. And I think maybe that's what made you say, okay, know what I mean? If that makes sense?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, and even though I was not even against, because I wouldn't say I'm against celebrating holidays at all.
Yeah.
But it was like, I didn't feel like I had to, say, oh, let's celebrate Christmas. It wasn't a main thing for me to do.
I feel like if you are dating someone who doesn't necessarily believe in what you believe in, there has to be patience, and you can't be judgmental.
And it has to be
You can't be pushing your agenda on somebody who has been living a certain way for their entire life. That's when you need to know in the beginning what you're willing to accept from your partner, and what you see from, like, even later on in life, if you decide to have kids, how are you, those are major differences that you're going to have to be able to come to terms with. And that's what you need to know early on.
To see whether it's something you be like, if you're a Christian, you're like, my partner has to be Christian. Well, then you would know already early on. Okay, that would be something that brought up. But for the fact, in our example, like I wasn't a Christian or a certain type of thing, and you were Christian, but for the fact of you didn't know what I was, and you didn't ask or push it. So it's like, okay, so down the road, if I said, oh, I'm a Satanist, you couldn't be upset at that, if that makes sense, because in the beginning you never said, oh, nothing like that, so you couldn't even be upset. But it worked out where it's like, okay, I'm a super spiritual person, but I don't go to church every week. I may not be in the Bible, but I'm super duper.
Even though he does.
In tune. Yeah, I do read the Bible. The Bible. But yeah, and I've read the Bible a lot, especially when I was young.
I feel like it depends on the person, and a lot of times that is a deal breaker, and a lot of the time you may end up falling in love with somebody who doesn't necessarily believe in the same thing that you believe in. So that means you have to navigate the relationship completely differently. So maybe, I've had a friend who said that, his mom was Christian and his dad was Muslim, but they fell in love, they got married, they had him, and, it ended up not going the way it was supposed to go.
Yeah, I think if you're in a relationship with somebody and it's just completely different, I think that would be hard to try to even, because your beliefs, if your beliefs are completely different, it ain't. I don't really, because you can't. Because being in a relationship,
but it may not be able to.
Y'all in a relationship. It's like it's a team, like y'all combined together type thing. So if y'all beliefs are not like, I don't like. Oh, I believe in God. I believe in Allah. Like it's just
yoked and meshing together in a way. And I feel like that's extremely hard. That is a really tough road to walk when you love somebody.
But if you're truly in tune, and if you truly are whatever your religion is, you will love everybody the same.
I mean, you love them the same.
If you say you don't love somebody because they're not a Christian or they're not your thing, then it just shows, are you really that Christian?
You can love them, but that don't mean you got to be with them.
Yeah, it's like, how do you go about doing this and that? It's just a different way of handling things.
God loved us all, so if you
and that's fine. That's why I never really pressured or wanted, pressure you into like, oh, what do you believe in, or oh, this and that. Like that's just not how I operate. I feel like people come to terms with certain things in their life in their own timing.
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna criticize or tell you. Just wish ill of you because of that. That's just not very good. That's just not how I operate.
But I will say this though.
I'll just kind of walk in my purpose, and if you feel like that's something that you would want to do, then you do it. But all I can do is be true to myself. But I also want to mention, another part of the question was our cultural differences. Like, I'm American. And Drew is Trini and Guyanese, so.
But I was born in America.
But he was born in America. Yeah, he's a Yard boy. Ain't that what you
you first gen?
But your roots.
Yeah, but my roots.
The thing is, I was gonna say that as far as me and Drew's like friendship and shit. When Drew go out with his family, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go, because they going to go to the only reggae spots. And I'm like, I'm cool with a few of them shits. The club might throw on a couple of them, but I'm not going. I don't want to go out where all they play is that. I don't want to hear that shit all night. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I can't really vibe to that shit. I don't know the words. All of them in the circle singing all the words, dancing and shit.
What was that?
If I'm not really like drunk and I don't really care what I'm doing, then I can't really vibe to that shit because I don't know it.
Yeah, I feel like you got the rhythm.
Yeah,
he be getting down sometimes.
I can get in there, but I can't do. I can do the hits that everybody know. Like that song, I know that, but like I can't do them all. So like after they're not playing the hits, I don't know them. So it's like.
Standing there.
I don't know, bro. Like,
I feel like with Drew and our cultural differences, it is sometimes going to the reggae club all night. It's not really daunting to me because I feel like I'll vibe out, either way it goes. Like, so that's not really a big thing for me. I feel like I feel like I create the vibe when I go somewhere. My energy is what I feel like. If I'm in the mood for it, then I will, I'll be fine. It's just really depending on me and what I feel like doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just always kind of been a go with the flow. If it's something I feel comfortable with, I'll have fun regardless.
But I will say this though, like the cultural differences is a big thing though, like because it's total, like it's a huge thing. Because like my family is, I feel like I won't even say totally different, but it is different than her family because it's a big cultural difference type of thing.
Different how would you say?
Different, it's something as simple as the music. Like how she said, the music.
Yeah, like
is gonna
I'm
be totally
listening.
different.
My old school is Marvin Gaye.
I don't know old school Marvin Gaye.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I grew up, my
Yeah.
it's Sizzler in the house. It's Buju Ba, like it's like that's what
Like
growing up like so.
The 5 Heartbeats.
It's just totally different. So like
Shaka Khan.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I don't remember hearing those type of stuff in the house, and I would even say things just like on it just totally like if she comes, which I'm pretty sure she could attest for, but being the type of person that she is and the type of person I am, I feel like you could put me anywhere, you could put her anywhere.
Yeah, you can kind of mesh wherever.
Because even going back to like where her father from, it's like that's super duper country to me. Like I've never experienced anything like going to Mississippi in Vicksburg ever in my life. Like I've never
Mississippi.
Like that's like totally. I've never experienced that before, but I could still blend. I could still rock out with that too. And I understand the balance of that. Like I still love that. When we go there, I enjoy that time away. But it's totally different than anything I ever experienced before in my life. Like, so how do y'all feel on the religion topic and also on the culture topic? Well, y'all probably from the same culture, basically.
Does it have to go from like us dating or just anybody in general?
I mean, you can speak in general, but then if you can like try to reel it back in to see how y'all dealing with it if it's something that pops up.
For me, I guess in general would be I mean, I've tried to date somebody where like we seem to get along really well and shit, but then she ended up being like really religious, and it's just like, all right, I don't subscribe to any of that. I'm not religious at all. Like if there's like a poster child for like not religious, it'd be me.
No, the thing is though, I don't even believe that about you though, because I think if you really paid attention, and that's what I think people don't understand sometimes about religion. Like if you really was to say, okay, Beans, are you Christian? Like, and I'm not talking, when I say Christian, I'm not talking about just going to church or saying hallelujah.
Have Christian belief.
But not but
that's subjective because they all have all of their
whenever I say Christian
merged together. So saying do you believe in something that Christians believe in, that doesn't
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying
I feel is
what are you saying, Bree?
Keep going.
No,
I'm sorry. Keep going.
I'm saying like if the way you live lines up with the stuff that are written in the Bible.
It don't.
And you're saying it don't, but if you really were tuned in and like a lot of how you carry it, like which one of the 10 commandments do you break? Other than maybe sex before marriage, but you can't even use that because marriage back then in the Bible days is different than just going to the courthouse. Because technically, according to the Bible, you might be considered married right now. Considered the Bible, because the Bible they didn't have go to court and all that. So, what 10 commandments do you think you break?
What are the 10?
You don't commit murder.
You don't commit.
You don't cheat. You don't commit adultery.
You respect your mother.
You respect your mother. Like you probably follow all the 10 commandments. And if you even look into the fruits of the spirit, which are things like what are the fruits of the spirit? I can't remember. But I put money. A lot of the way you carry yourself goes along that. What a lot of people get disconnected where they say, "Oh, I'm not religious or I'm not Christian," is because of because a lot of the preachers nowadays might say, "Oh, it's go to church on Sunday, do this." But if you read the Bible and you said, "Let me align myself with some of these." The 10 commandments, the fruits of the spirit, which are main things, you would say, "Oh wow, yeah, I rock with that." If that makes sense,
But if I'm already doing it, why do I need to like?
Yeah, but I'm just saying you can't say, "Oh,"
but
you can't say.
You're saying that I'm already doing.
No,
it.
I'm saying you can't say. You can't sit here and say, "Oh, I'm not a religious person," or "I'm not that," because a lot of how you carry yourself already.
The reason I don't agree with that necessarily is just because I like agree with certain things of like a way of life doesn't mean that I have to subscribe to that way of life.
He just has a problem with submitting.
He doesn't want to subscribe to being Christian. He doesn't want to subscribe to being Muslim. He doesn't want to subscribe to being Buddhist. He doesn't want the label.
The whole structure. I don't. The reason why I don't believe in any religion is because I know the origins of the structure of religion
you feel
and why
as though
it was
religion
created.
is here to keep poor people down. You feel as though
Religion
religion
was literally
for
created
order.
for control.
Because my thing is,
what
like,
it's created for.
But when you have to stop being so technical and take yourself out of trying to break down religion and understand why is this a thing, I think you would find more value in understanding.
Yep, always been that way.
Very true.
Where your values lie.
Yep,
and I think that's where
very
him
true.
and I kind of connect, because I will not consider myself super religious because I don't know where I fall on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying before, I believe in a higher power. I just don't know which higher power fits me present day, because I was raised Southern Baptist, Bible Belt Christian, and there are just things that I saw growing up that I didn't necessarily agree with, and I feel as though if you say you're a Christian and these are the things that you want to believe in, and I'm going to Sunday school and I'm supposed to internalize and believe these things, but I'm seeing things that are differently, it's a disconnect for me, and it's like it's hard for me to understand, it's hard for me to trust when it's not what you really make it to be. And I just think as an adult, I'm just more cognizant of it, and it's just like, okay, there are multiple religions out there. And like, even though Aaron tried to say, oh, well, you pick what fits you, and I just feel as though it's nothing wrong.
That was a whole different. But
to your point, you still said you pick what benefits you.
Yeah.
I feel as though nothing is wrong with me saying, okay, as far as following Buddhism in meditation, like that fits me. That speaks to like my soul. And listen. I just want to clarify
the fact that we weren't talking about that. We're talking about the fact of right and wrong being subjective. You're talking about something completely different than what I was talking about.
No, stop being technical.
That's not technical.
So, yes, you are. So the thing is, if I'm saying that I want to pull from different religions because it benefits me in that moment, that's fine. I can't say I'm a diehard Christian. I can't say I believe in Buddhism 100%, but there are just different aspects of each religion that ground me in so many words.
I see.
But I think because I'm still on a religious journey, I guess you can say, because like I definitely see myself as more spiritual, but because I'm just trying to figure out where I fall on that spectrum, I think our relationship is able to thrive because even though he says he doesn't subject to any one religion, he still has core values and morals that fall on that spectrum.
Yeah.
And like he can tell you all day, every day, I'm not religious, I'm not this, I'm not that. But
he
the way,
still has a set of
but the way that you live
No,
your life.
just because I live my life. If that's the case, I probably live my life as a fucking Buddhist, a Muslim,
But the thing is,
fucking Jewish,
listen,
everything.
and
that's my point being, is like, yes, I can live my way any kind of way, and I can pick parts of it that, yeah, sure, I'm sure it fits into this, and this, but no, I'm not religious because I'm talking the construct of religion was created on the purpose of
I need
control.
you to get over that.
No, I'm not getting over it because that's what it was created for.
Religion is just for control.
That's what it was created for.
Religion
that's what it was created for.
People and religion gives people faith and
most,
it gives them something to hold on to.
Okay, that's them. That doesn't have to be me. I don't have to fit into any of that. I don't have to do what everyone else does. I am not religious. I'm not going to be religious.
That's
so
fine.
You guys
but I want
pressure me and say you probably fit this.
Nobody's trying to pressure you, but I just really need you to get out of your own way.
I'm in my own way.
Baby, yes you are. You're in your own way when it comes to
that affects my life zero.
I'm not subscribing to this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. When in actuality, you do.
That
when
affects my life zero.
It doesn't matter about it. Affects your life. Take yourself out of your shoes. Step back for a second and just see how you live your life day to day.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm
pretty sure any single person, even an atheist,
an
atheist probably can agree with some things that are religious or any other religion. I'm sure they can step outside themselves and say, "Oh, I fit this, and this." That don't mean they gotta subscribe to it.
You're just so opposed to being labeled as one thing.
No, I'm not.
You really are.
When you really look at it, the messenger, it doesn't matter who the messenger is. What matters the most is the message. Each religion says exactly the same exact thing. If you study and look up, what does everything says the same thing. So whenever you look at it from a outside thing, you like, if you look at it from the outside looking in, you like, okay, wait. Okay, you got 3 or all these different people saying the same thing. It really don't matter who the messenger is. Obviously, the important thing out of the whole thing is the message. Live your life good. I mean, like, don't lie to your nigga. Like how you said.
The right and wrong thing is subjective. Your
What
good
part-
is
what-
not everyone's good. That's my whole point of all of this stuff.
No.
Is
We're talking about
the
religion. We're not talking
that's my
about.
point.
We're not talking
you
about.
just said live your life
Aaron.
good. That's my no. Listen, can I talk now?
Okay.
He just said the whole point of it is to live your life good.
Yes.
Your good and my good. Let's just say
No,
for
and the thing is, when I
it's
say
not always
good-
gonna line up.
When I say good, live life to your good. Whatever
That's
your
my-
good may
and
be.
that's my point exactly. But my point with all of this stuff is that all of this shit is subjective, no matter what it is. Right,
Okay.
wrong, good, bad. It's all subjective. I'm not gonna subscribe to any of those religions that tell me this is right, this is wrong, because they all do that. They all tell you things that you can and cannot do. Every single one of them.
But
tell
there
you,
are things that you do
Can I-
in
can
your
I talk?
life.
Where
that
in the
that's
Bible?
fine.
Where in the Bible does it say something is where it tells you like a specific do this wrong, do that right? Well, I guess that's all over the Bible.
what you
really.
can and can't do, like being gay, having sex before marriage, those are things that off the top of my head they say that you can't do.
Yeah, this is true.
And I don't even read that. They tell you things you can and cannot do. My whole point being is, yes, they all overlap, but they all started in the construct of how to control people, how to tell people how to live their lives.
You remember when I said that he told me that I was
No, I
wrong
did not. We're going to set the
about
standard.
controlling poor
We're going to
people?
set the standard for what is good and bad, what is right and wrong. That's what they do. That is the point of religion. That's my whole point in this whole argument.
You're
that is
against
what religion
having
does.
control.
And everything that he says is agreed with that. It tells you to live good. And in every single religion, they're different, but they all overlap, and they all have certain things that say, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad.
You're so against somebody saying something is right, something is wrong. You're so against somebody saying, Aaron, sit in this box and be okay with being in this box, living right or wrong. You are so opposed to that, and that's been my whole argument.
You're right.
You're opposed to it.
I am, because
And that's why
everyone
I said
can
you take
come up with their own right and wrong,
yourself out of
or
being
good and bad, or what they want to do. Everyone's a free spirit. And that's in
yourself-
every religion too.
Hey, I'm talking.
Is that
Please,
not
be
every
quiet,
religion
be
that you're
quiet,
of free
be
will?
quiet. Listen to me.
That you're of free
I need-
will.
hey,
That's in every single religion,
Aaron.
that you're of free will. So if I'm
Aaron.
of free will, I can do what I want to do.
I know. I want you to take yourself out of being
I
in
am.
your own head.
I am.
And just observe.
I am observing.
Listen.
And everybody does
Learn.
exactly
No,
what they're going to do.
you're not, because
so that's why the
you
whole
are
repenting
so
thing is a thing.
hostile
Because you did what you wanted
when
to
it
do,
comes to
and they're telling you
religion.
that you're wrong, and that you should basically apologize for what you did because you realized later
No,
on
you're just-
that what you did was wrong.
you're
You're of free
hostile
will,
to
and
it.
that's why you did your mistake. You committed your sin because you're of free will.
No, I was just saying, like, nobody's telling you that your moral compass should be
A specific way.
a specific way.
Once you're doing what you want to
but
do
you're
and what
doing
you feel is
in your
good,
heart
then
is feel is right, but
that's it.
That could line up with
like
something.
I think a
It
lot
could,
when the
but it
Bible.
doesn't have to. Because I know what they were
to
created
this.
for.
Listen
I
to
don't
this though, because
understand.
this is gonna really bust your head. This is
don't
gonna really
understand
bust your
at all.
head right now, and probably everybody's head. Because and this is one thing me and my mother talk about. I really haven't really talked about it with anybody outside my mother, but I've read the Bible a lot. And whenever I used to go to like the Hebrew Israelite church with my mother, I read the Bible from the front to back. And one thing me and my mother the other day was talking about, like in the Bible, in all these religions, when they say they're talking to God, and God is saying this, the positive, and why it goes back to what you're saying about what's good to each person is good. What if in the Bible, God is yourself? As crazy as it may sound,
what I'm
like,
saying.
because
That's not crazy at all. That's literally what I'm
okay,
saying.
But
so
God
therefore,
can
what I'm
be
saying
any
is,
and everything that you want him, her, it to be. You don't have.
Subjective.
But that's my thing is
Again.
when I say you just don't want to fall into a box of checking off.
category.
I'm
yeah, he just
Christian
doesn't want to be
today.
categorized.
He don't want to be
You don't.
labeled.
That you're so opposed to falling into a box that you don't even realize that you still have these beliefs that fall along with
so
all of these
I
religions.
think the difference for a lot of where what I'm saying is different is because I'm talking about religion, but religion and spirituality are not the same thing.
Agreed.
And that's the
Because
difference.
I
What I'm
just-
saying is, yes, being spiritual and all the shit I'm saying is more spiritual. I don't believe in the social construct of religion.
So you're
religion
spiritual,
to me
though.
is
You're
bullshit.
spiritual.
what are
Spiritual,
the,
yes.
What are the social constructs
Because-
of religion?
When you're religion, you follow that religion's book. When you're Muslim, you follow the Quran.
Yeah, 'cause we
when you're
just-
Christian,
we
you follow
just-
the Bible. That's my
We
point.
just looked up what religious means, and religious means the belief in a religion.
That's my point. If you're Christian, you believe in Christian beliefs. I'm spiritual. I believe in whatever I believe in. It has nothing to do with religion.
With
That's
that.
my point. You guys are putting religion on it when it has nothing to do with religion. Of course, anything I might fall in line with Christian, like I said, Christianity, Muslim, or Jewish, or any of the other
I
ones.
always go back and forth between
Sure.
Muslim and Muslim.
Sure, that's
just
totally
did it.
fine. I'm saying I understand that, but I'm saying you guys keep putting the religious, the social contract of religion on me, and it's more spiritual than anything.
Okay, so
Spiritual means
I want to hear
that-
about cultural differences between you guys.
Yeah, I don't think
Real,
we really have too many
like-
cultural differences.
Cultural differences.
Like my mom's Puerto Rican, but like my mom's more of a black Puerto Rican.
I think,
That's her ethnicity. Okay.
but I think as far as like being American, being African American, being
Yeah.
Southerner, being like all the intersectionalities is just like
She's Southern as hell.
overwhelming.
She's Southern.
But the thing is, like, you want to say I'm Southern, but you fail to realize and you fail to adopt that Georgia raised you.
No.
You want to
Here's
say,
the-
oh, I
here,
grew
wanna
up
tell
in
you
a
the
house
difference?
with people from up north.
So,
I
okay.
listen to music from up
So let me
north.
your
explain
mom-
this to
I've
you.
been down here since I was
Let me explain
whatever.
this. So let me explain
Southern.
this and tell me if this makes sense to you. So yes, I grew up in Georgia, right? But every
when your
single
parents
person
from-
in my household is from up north. I went up north for the summers. How does that not make any sense that would affect me?
My thing is like you're really trying to discount that you have Southern roots. Yes, your
What Southern roots do I
your
have?
foundation may be Northern.
What Southern
Yes,
roots do I
you
have?
were born in Massachusetts, but what raised you,
Yeah, I
what
agree.
gave you the mindset that you have, the things that you see,
I learned
come
much more
from
in my
Atlanta,
house.
Georgia.
No, I learned much more in my
No,
household
but
than
the thing
outside
is-
the household.
No, but
Everything
your
I said-
environment
everything
does.
I ever
Your
said.
environment does impact how you are as a person. Where you were
Yes,
raised,
but I
you're
feel like if you're
surrounded
talking
by-
about how you're raised, it's more so what's in your household than what's outside
But
of the
okay,
household.
but you're literally trying to sit here and say, oh, because the people in my household are from up north and they listen to northern music, I don't fuck with the South. We've had those conversations.
I'm not saying I
how
don't
that
fuck with
comes
the
off
South,
to
and I'm
me.
not saying that being in the South didn't affect me.
Huh?
The thing is, I understand what he's saying because, like, and I could relate to this in a huge amount because whether being born in New York, live in Atlanta, like, my parents are Guyanese and Trinidadian. So, therefore, even though I was born in America, being New York, I grew up not listening to American music. Like, so my whole household, I grew up listening to reggae. So even though I was born in America, my parents being West Indian had from the food I eat and from the food that I like to this day. I like curry chicken, oxtail, roti, black cake. That's the type of stuff I like. Even though I never been to Trinidad ever, and I never been to Guyana ever, just for the fact of growing up in that household, and even living in New York, living in Georgia, even though I'm not saying I don't like macaroni and because we eat macaroni even West Indian, but like it's like what your parents are impacts hugely. I think even more so than your.
You just
period.
said that your mama is a black Puerto Rican, so
Okay,
what's up?
I never said anything about being Spanish.
So
when did I
what's
mention?
up?
When at what point did I mention anything about being
Okay,
Spanish?
you
I said
you
being a
didn't.
northerner.
But
I don't know how
what values do
I can't
you
speak to how
have
my
from
mom
your
was
mother
raised.
being a black Puerto Rican raising you?
I grew up in a black
How
household.
did it impact you?
I don't even remember a time where I just lived with my mom. I was fucking 5 when we moved in with other people, and that's how I grew up.
That's fine.
So I grew up
I don't
in
care
my
about who you
my
grew
mom
up
was
with,
the
how were
only.
you raised.
That's my
You was
point.
raised by the
I was
people you grew up
born by
with,
the people
yeah.
I grew up with. My whole entire household was black. We didn't listen to Spanish music in the
Yeah,
house.
exactly,
It was
yeah,
all
that
black
makes sense,
people.
yeah.
My mom,
I see.
when I could remember, I moved down here when I was 6 years old. Everyone in the house was black. Of course, I don't know that much
Yeah.
Spanish.
You
That doesn't
don't know
make any
Spanish,
sense.
exactly, yeah.
You're proving my point for me.
At what point am I proving
That's kind of
Because you're talking about the household, how I was raised. When I grew up, I grew up in a
you
black
moved
household.
down here at 6 in a black household, but you want to
Everybody around you
continue
was
me
Indian.
being a black
to
American. I just know the
discount
culture
that
we created
a
here
black
in America.
culture
I
and
don't
or a
know
black
what my roots
be
are.
Why did I
quiet
say I
and
wasn't
be
black?
quiet and listen, please. You want to say you grew up in a black household. Yes, they may be mostly northerners or they're all from the north, but you grew up in a northern household in the South, but you want to say that the black South had no impact on you being raised and how you see the world?
First of all, that's not what I said.
So what are you
I
saying?
said was how the same way people say how I was raised is how I am. You're more raised in the house than you are out of the house. To say that the outside world had no effect on me would be absolutely ridiculous and foolish to say.
But you're trying to make it seem as though like being a Southerner is such a horrible thing, and you're making it seem as though like you are just like you exude Northerner. I'm from the North. I don't fuck with the South. I'm from the North. I'm better than you.
I never said that.
No, but that's the perception that
How
people.
do I give that off?
Listen,
I fuck with
That Sam Greer got pretty drunk.
no, because
got two.
y'all both are from the North.
It's just funny
to understand.
It's just funny because I listen to Dipset. When I play it, she's like, "Oh, this does nothing for me," and she plays like some Outkast shit. I'm like, "Oh, I don't really. This is cool.
But
I fuck with it."
But I want you to understand where people from the South, like, I really feel like it's always a slight when people from the North is just like, oh, I'm Northern. The South didn't raise me. The South has no impact on me. When y'all niggas been down here for more than half of your lives.
But the thing is, you don't know the opposite of that because you've never been Southern and moved up North.
But I want you to make it make sense. Y'all hold so tightly onto being a Northerner when you don't. But you don't know being a Northerner outside of pre-K. Make it make sense.
That's not true.
You don't know being a Northerner outside. You said you moved out here when you were 6.
But that's not true.
I'll speak to it. I'll speak to it right now.
That's not true.
The thing is, I know for me, for not even being a West Indian, moving to Georgia super early, I'll say, I mean, for me personally, I claim my Georgianness to the fullness. I claim that. But the thing is, people may still say, like, if I meet somebody, they might say, oh, you from New York? I'm like, well, yeah, I'm born in New York, but I've been living in Georgia for this long. But the fact, and so it's not like I'm just going to say, oh, anti-Atlanta or anti-New York and just claim Atlanta. All of that piece me together, if that makes sense. I feel like all of that piece me. So whatever somebody looks at me or listens to me and say, oh, New York nigga or oh, Atlanta nigga, to me, it's like I'm a mixture. And now I'm living in Texas now for 2 years. The longer that goes on, it's going to be, Texas is going to become part of me. Like it's also, but whatever somebody sees or judges or says, okay, that's whatever it is. You accept, I mean, you look at Drew however you take Drew, but everything together. Georgia has a huge impact on my life. New York has a huge impact on my life. Guyana and Trinidad, never been there before, huge impact on my life. Mm-hmm. Texas, only been here 2 years, not as huge as the other places, but it's also, I know in the end, going to leave a print on my life.
We appreciate you guys' feedback and comments. Keep leaving feedback and comments or topics you may want us to talk about or questions, or maybe if you want to get deeper into the conversation, you can comment on the YouTube or
and don't just DM me or text me your responses.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I want to
send
hear
it to
it.
the actual page. A couple of pod. Engage with the actual page and the actual brand so that everybody can see it. But so this was a good one. We'll see you guys on the next one.
All right.
And peace out.
Bye-bye.
To the next one.